My leadership story with a reluctant childhood. I grew up a reluctant leader. I've always associated leadership with being responsible for others and being in charge. Something that I don't particularly enjoy to date. So I denied all attempts of being in charge since my very early childhood. I wouldn't be a class monitor or a church this or that. I would just say no because it didn't matter for me. It didn't make sense and I didn't enjoy it. I joined Honeyguide in 2014, and coming from a technical background, most of you already gathered I'm a bit techie. I took technical positions. For me, it was easier then to just interact with computers than interact with people. And leadership would push me to the otherwise. So in 2016, I was invited, Honeyguide was invited to the African Conservation Leadership Network. For me, that was the first attempt and maybe a game changer for my attitude and my embracing leadership. Damien, our executive director, sitting right there, he invited me to go with him to that leadership program. And I wondered, it took him a few camping trips and a lot of convincing, because I was just a GIS and mapping person. Who was I going to lead? Why was I needed for a leadership program? That didn't make sense for me, but I went anyway because it was Namibia and I wanted to travel. Like many, I met people who have been leading organizations for many years, chatted with them, was pushed to understand my personality in various programs, was pushed to understand the bigger picture, was pushed to define my vision and see how was I going to achieve that vision alone on a computer doing mapping. So I embraced it. 6 months later, I was promoted to become a programs manager for Honeyguide. I came from influencing 2 or 3 people at max in my life to over 40 people in the organization. I took, I think, a second senior position in the organization, and I was leading all program implementation. That also pushed me to interact external with partners and donors, with people like you traveling to these kind of events, because I wouldn't come to these events as a GIS and mapping person. So I grew. The MBA program also helped, something I'm doing with Chanda, graduating tomorrow. Various exercises, there was a leadership lab, it was bittersweet. I just hated every week reflecting on how am I doing as a leader. But thinking about it, every time I submit an activation, every time I reflect in what I said, I know how my leadership helps. There are struggles. It's tough to be responsible for others. It's so much easier to just be achieving, sitting in a room, doing GIS and mapping on a computer. There's not many blames that you go through. There's not many responsibilities you go through. You can just point a finger and say, hey, speak to Damien, it's not me. But taking that responsibility and sitting on the leadership role, knowing that you have many people you have to influence, knowing that you have many people looking up to you, matters a lot. But on the positive side, watching people grow, watching an organization succeed, and you know deep down you have something to do with it, there's the satisfaction that I can't define. And that's what keeps me here. That's what keeps me going. I grew up a very strong introvert. I only knew what introversion means when I did the MBTI in Namibia. If you don't know about it, go do your personality test. It helps. Being a strong introvert, I need my alone time. Leadership doesn't give you many of those moments. It is draining acting the role. So what helped for me the most is support structures, something I'm not short of. I have support structures all around me. That man right there, he deserves a round of applause right now. I think I was born lucky, but also I think I have a lot of people, many in this room, who saw the potential in me that I didn't know about before. I trusted in them and gave it a shot. It helped many. And I'll take that, I'll know that if you're struggling with leadership, you need support structures around you. Be it your colleague, be it your leader, be it your wife, your coach, your lecturer. You need support structures around you if you are to get through this. Now, conservation need leaders like me. Conservation need leaders like you, like these guys here. Because we're not going to achieve conservation playing a lone game like I did. We need systems, we need great organizations, and great organizations mean great leaders leading them. Thank you.